Welcome back to Nation of Glory. Today we take you on a journey through the life of one of Hollywood's most mysterious, imaginative, and iconic filmmakers, a man who brought gothic dreams and dark fantasies to life on the big screen. Timothy Walter Burton, better known to the world as Tim Burton. This is not just the story of a director. It is the story of a visionary who transformed his childhood fears and passions into a legacy of cinema that millions continue to admire. Tim Burton's story begins in Burbank, California, where he was born on August 25, 1958. Unlike many kids in sunny California who grew up playing outdoors, Tim was different. He preferred the company of monster movies, sketchpads, and the haunting silence of his own imagination. He would watch horror classics, dive into old Gothic tales, and draw strange characters who seemed to come from another world. Even as a child, Tim's mind was painting pictures that didn't look like anyone else's. He was shy, introverted, and never felt like he fit in with the other kids around him. Yet this sense of being different became the foundation of his creative universe. His neighborhood was bright and suburban, but in his mind, it was a place full of shadows and mysteries. That is where the seeds of his Gothic style were planted. Tim grew fascinated by films, such as the works of Vincent Price, the old Frankenstein movies, and even Japanese monster films. These became his escape and his source of comfort. They gave him an artistic language, a way to see the world, that others could not. When Burton attended high school, his talent for art became impossible to ignore. He would fill notebooks with drawings of haunting figures, crooked houses, and surreal landscapes. His teachers didn't always understand him, but some saw his talent shining through. This passion led him to pursue his studies at the California Institute of the Arts, or CalArts, a school created by Walt Disney himself. There, Tim finally found a place where his imagination was not only accepted but celebrated. After graduation, Burton was hired as an apprentice at Walt Disney Studios, working as an animator. At first glance, this might sound like a dream come true, but for Tim, it wasn't. Disney's world was filled with bright, cheerful colors, princesses, and happy endings. Burton's world, on the other hand, was filled with shadows, eccentric characters, and bittersweet emotions. While he worked on films like The Fox and the Hound and The Black Cauldron, his unique style didn't quite fit. He often felt restrained, like his ideas were too strange, too dark, too unconventional for the Disney world. But instead of letting this discourage him, Tim used it as fuel. He worked quietly on his own projects while at Disney, creating short films that showcased his imagination. One of his first was a short called Vincent, a stop-motion black and white film, narrated by Vincent Price himself. It told the story of a boy who wanted to be just like Price, living in a dark, Gothic fantasy instead of reality. This short captured Burton's soul. It was strange, eerie, and filled with heart. And though it wasn't a mainstream hit, it set the stage for everything Burton would later become. In 1985, Tim Burton finally got his big break when he was chosen to direct Pee-wee's Big Adventure. At first, it seemed odd that such a quirky comedian and a Gothic artist would work together. But Burton's offbeat direction turned the film into a surprise success. Suddenly, Hollywood took notice of this strange, creative mind who dared to do things differently. The real turning point, however, came in 1988 when Burton released Beetlejuice. This bizarre, funny, and darkly Gothic tale about ghosts trying to scare away new homeowners became a cultural phenomenon. With its wild visuals, unique characters, and unforgettable performances, Beetlejuice announced to the world that Tim Burton was not just another filmmaker, he was a visionary. Then, in 1989, Burton was given one of the biggest opportunities of his career, directing Batman. At the time, superhero movies weren't what they are today. Many people doubted whether Batman could be taken seriously on screen. But Burton proved them wrong. With Michael Keaton as Batman and Jack Nicholson as the Joker, Burton created a dark, atmospheric Gotham City that became a cinematic landmark. It was gothic, thrilling, and unlike anything audiences had seen before. His vision redefined the superhero genre and opened the doors for everything that followed in the world of comic book movies. But Burton didn't stop there. He followed Batman with Edward Scissorhands in 1990, perhaps his most personal and emotional film. The story of a man with scissors for hands, played beautifully by Johnny Depp, reflected Burton's own feelings of isolation and being misunderstood as a child. The film was haunting, whimsical, and deeply touching. It became a modern fairy tale that resonated with audiences worldwide. Through the 1990s and 2000s, Burton's filmography grew into a collection of classics. From Batman Returns to The Nightmare Before Christmas, from Sleepy Hollow to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, his work carried a signature that was unmistakable. He built entire worlds where the bizarre was beautiful, where the misunderstood became heroes, and where darkness and light danced together in harmony. One of Burton's most celebrated collaborations was with Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. Together, they brought to life unforgettable characters like Ichabod Crane in Sleepy Hollow, Willy Wonka in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Sweeney Todd in Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. These films showed Burton's ability to mix Gothic style with emotional storytelling, creating movies that were visually stunning and emotionally resonant. And then, of course, there is The Nightmare Before Christmas, a film that has become a holiday classic unlike any other. Though Burton didn't direct it, his story, style, and vision shaped it completely. The film's unique ability to be both Halloween and Christmas at the same time reflects Burton's magical touch of turning opposites into harmony. But behind the fame, Tim Burton has always remained a deeply private man. He is not one for the spotlight, not someone who craves attention. His true voice is in his art, his films, and his ability to connect with people who feel different, misunderstood, or out of place. He has given those people a hero, someone who reflects their emotions, fears, and hopes. Over the years, Burton's work has received critical acclaim and loyal fans around the world. Yet his impact goes beyond box office numbers or awards. His greatest contribution is how he has redefined beauty in cinema. He showed us that dark can be beautiful, that strange can be powerful, and that those who don't fit in often create the most magical worlds. Even today, his films inspire new generations of artists, filmmakers, and dreamers. His style has shaped not just Hollywood, but also fashion, music, and art. Without Tim Burton, the Gothic culture in mainstream entertainment might not have reached the heights it has today. What makes Tim Burton's journey so powerful is that it teaches us something about embracing our uniqueness. As a child, he was the quiet boy who didn't fit in, the one who found comfort in monsters and shadows. But instead of letting the world change him, he turned his differences into his strength. He became the voice for the outsiders, the dreamers, and those who see the world a little differently. That is the true magic of Tim Burton. His films aren't just stories on screen, they are reflections of his soul, invitations into his imagination, and reminders that being different is not a weakness, but a gift. As we look back on Tim Burton's career, we see more than just movies. We see a man who dared to dream in black and white when the world demanded color. A man who created beauty from the bizarre, and whose imagination continues to inspire millions. From the strange world of Beetlejuice to the touching heart of Edward Scissorhands, from the Gothic towers of Gotham to the enchanting melodies of The Nightmare Before Christmas, Burton has given us stories that live forever. And so, his legacy is not just in film reels or awards, but in the hearts of every person who has ever felt like they didn't belong. Tim Burton showed us that there is a place for everyone, even the strangest of us all. Thank you for staying with us through this journey into the life and art of Tim Burton, a true master of Gothic fantasy, and one of Hollywood's most unique voices. This has been Nation of Glory. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories, hit the like button if you enjoyed this, and share it with others who would love to hear about the legends of Hollywood. Until next time, thank you for watching.